Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me, Reggie Owens and Stormy B-Man on Archive. What's going on? What's going on? If you're listening on Archive, by the way, make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Make sure the like button does turn blue. For those on Archive, the people that watch live always hit the like button. You know what I mean? Like they're hitting the like it's going out of style. But, you dudes on Archive got to step up your game. We put in the work here. It just takes a moment. Press the like button. Make sure it turns blue. How's it going, Reggie?
Oh, it's going good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain at all, man.
Tell everybody where they can find Reggie Owens.
Yes, indeed. Y'all can find me at Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens here on YouTube, Instagram, Reggie76544. But a bunch of stuff. I'm all over the place. It's not boxing related on Instagram, but that's where you can find me.
There you go. Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And, of course, we have Stormy B-Man here. What's going on, Stormy? I think you're muted there.
What's going on, brothers? Salute.
How's it going, man? Tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going on your channel.
Everybody can find me right here on YouTube, Stormy B-Man. That's what's happening. That's what I've got going on at the moment.
Absolutely. Me, I'm going to put on, these DeWalt working glasses because, I'm putting in that work, ladies and gentlemen. Like I'm putting in that work. Plus, they kind of go with the hoodie here. You know what I'm saying? Put on these working glasses. Reggie doesn't know anything about working glasses. You know what I mean? Like no glasses for Reggie. But check out these notes. These are the notes, best notes of all time. We're going to be going down through this here. Let's start off with this. By the way, those coming in, make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Let me take off these glasses right now. Check it out. Okay. Ryan Garcia comes out. Man, ain't nobody see those notes, Reggie. Maybe I put the glasses on or something. I could see it or something.
You look like Ali G with them glasses.
Take those shits off quick. All right. I'll take them out so quick. But in all seriousness, throw that jab. All right. What's going on, G-Funk?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. What's up, bro? You guys can catch G-Funk84 here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his channel and G-Funk84 on Twitter. You guys can follow him there. And, of course, Hispanics Causing Panic here on Wednesdays as well. Man, we have a lot to talk about here. Reggie started us off with Ryan Garcia KO on the first round against Francisco Fonseca. That was on the zone. He was a headliner, a lot of pressure. Some people were saying the dude looked nervous. People always say he looks nervous. I don't know what, he's got the nervous look. What's going on, Reggie? He goes in there, bam, first round knockout. How'd you see it?
Man, I was super impressed with this young kid, man. The hand speed and everything. And like I stated, with the velocity on his punches, he's going to definitely be able to crack and get guys up out of there. I was really impressed with Ryan Garcia. I have no knocks on him. The only thing I'm worried about is the way they move this guy's career. I think he's ready for any of these guys that are out there. I know I get on him because they kind of sissify the whole thing about how he looks, worried about appearance rather than worried about him being a fighter. The kid is highly gifted, and just the hand speed is something brilliant. The way he hit that guy with that quick counter, just from he didn't even really have to put nothing into it. He didn't have to sit on it. He just threw it. It landed perfectly, and that was all she wrote. Second back-to-back knockout, which surprised me. I thought Duno was going to give him work. He cracked Duno, got him up out of there. He got this guy Fonseca up out of there with these one-punch type knockout highlights. And the dude's building a name for himself. But I think he's ready, but I can already see the BS that's going to go down with Golden Boy as they try to prop this kid up, prolong him, and build things up for him. But he has a crowd drawn out for him. So we just want to see what's going to happen later down the line. But I don't like the crap that I see Golden Boy playing out with his career. But yeah, I was highly impressed with what he did, and he's able to get people up out there. He's drawn a nice crowd. Wish the Devin Haney thing can go down. Definitely wish the Tank Davis thing could go down. If Oscar and them was smart, they'll make that Tank Davis fight, because that's one of the out of the two young cats. Tank Davis, I think, will be one of his easiest matches, and there could be a huge draw to that as well. But that's all I got on that.
I hear you, man. We're definitely going to talk about the 135 scene and what Ryan Garcia could do in a little bit. Shout out to the Underground Asylum out there. It's to Salute D-Style and the panel. AJ10 says, "What's up, everyone? Hit that like button. Make sure you press it. All right, let's get it up to 20 likes ASAP." All right. You guys are joking about the Ali G. It's all good, bro. It's all good. If it makes you jab the like button, by all means. Okay. Tone Brown says salute. And of course, 404 Boxing says salute. Like button has been jabbed. Following directions. Good. And 92 Ku on here says him fighting Jorge Linares this soon is great, is what he says. G Funky, what you think of Ryan Garcia's performance?
Man, I have to agree with Reggie. I was impressed again with this kid, man. The last time we seen him, he was on the co-feature. I know we don't like to say that around here, but he was the co-feature on Canelo's fight with Kovalev.
Yeah.
And they're against a guy who a lot of people said he was afraid of. A lot of people said he was ducking. Goes in there, blasts this dude out of there in one round. Going into this fight, you and I, we both predicted that he would knock this guy out, Fonseca, in less than 6. Crazy. I mean, to me, it's crazy. I had a lot of people that I knew that didn't think he was going to knock this dude out. Like, I was texting people before the fight, and I'm like, I'm just like, hey, man, Fonseca going out early, man. I just got a feeling, They're like, nah, he ain't knocking this guy. This guy's tough, man. He's got a chin. He's tough. I think he'll give Ryan Garcia some good work tonight, man. Man, couple solid left hooks, and Fonseca was stretched out in the middle of that ring. And I like what I see, man. I think things are starting to come into play with Garcia. We've always seen, the workout videos that he has or himself, hitting the heavy bag or the mitts, looking super, super fast. All that looks good in the gym. But again, how does that translate over into the ring? Last year or the year before when you see him fight, you didn't really see that kind of brilliant hand speed against fighters. Now we're starting to see it come into play in real fights against, some fairly good comp. Not the best comp, but, some good competition. I mean, Fonseca, again, we talked about him, he's just kind of a basic guy. He did what he had to do against this dude, blasting him out of there. But I think that the hand speed is starting to show up in these fights. The power now is starting to show up. He's starting to develop. He's still a young guy. He's only 20. But as he gets into that grown man body, I think we'll see more knockouts come. Especially with the way that he's placing these shots, man. I mean, it was just beautiful the way that he was countering this dude. Fonseca just reaching from just way out of range, trying to reach and throw these jabs and right hands, put himself right in that counter punch area. And he got hit with a couple left hooks before the one that knocked him out on basically the same thing. He's just reaching in and he got hit. This time he got hit right on the chin and he went to bed. So I like what I see from Garcia. I like how he's taking these guys seriously, even though these are guys that he's supposed to beat. And but he's taking these fights seriously. He's going out there and he's getting rid of these dudes quickly. I like that in young fighters. I like how he's always in the gym. Of course, same thing with Devin Haney, as he's the other young guy in that division. I think both of these guys take the sport very seriously. They both train very hard, and that's going to be one hell of a fight once we get it.
We're going to get there. Don't get ahead of me now,
G. Yeah, I got you.
Don't get ahead of me. All right, chill. All right, chill. All right. But in all seriousness, make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. Underground Asylum, we're definitely going to talk about what Garcia can do and all that. I believe that's basically getting answered while we go down the panel here. Dennis Ward says, salute to everybody. What's going on? I2AQ can't say he's ready for a tank yet. Fight with Linares will tell us where he's at. Okay, well, we'll definitely talk about that. But Stormy, what'd you think about, I mean, not a lot to talk about. I mean, it was a very short fight. But what you think about the Ryan Garcia knockout of Francisco Fonseca?
Well, I thought it was a great showcase for Garcia. They picked the ultimate opponent for him for this particular night. He looked like $1 million fighter, you know, off of the results of how everything went down. But of course, you know me, I have to say something that's not very popular. Let me see him in there with somebody who can hit him back, because the one thing I recognize is that even though he had a nice little outing as an amateur and everything, if you notice, he wasn't hitting people like that and not knocking people out like that. And he's doing it in the pros, which means their matchmaking with him at this particular time is very good. It's on point. And that's going to draw the interest of people because they're going to want to see him again, especially off of a performance like last Saturday. That being said, it reminded me a lot of a fight that took place in Oscar De La Hoya's career when he was going in there against Rafael Ruelas. And that was supposed to be a very good test for Oscar. And he blitzed him out the same exact way. Sharp left hooks on the chin, and the guy couldn't take it. I think he went down a couple of times against De La Hoya, where this gentleman went down once, Fonseca. The key to this is him being able to fight. We know he has fast hands. We know he has pop on his punches, but that doesn't mean he can fight. If a guy can take a shot and be in there with him, and he gets tested in how to fight professionally as a pro, not a guy that he's showcasing against, then you'll be able to see what he really has. A lot of times fighters, you don't know what they have until they're tested at that point. But for right now, what they're doing with him, they're giving him the look of a golden child. So that's you have to take it for what it is right now.
Well said, Stormy. Shout out to Haplotype in house. Says, what's up, guys? What's going on, Haplotype? Reggie, Devin Haney is wasting zero time calling these guys out. Okay, in very aggressive fashion. I like it. I think all fighters should do this. Okay, he's in the ring. He's saying, let's do this. His father is calling out B-Hop. Okay, David Haney tweets out, he went from the executioner to protection agency or something like that. Okay, I mean, this is interesting, but David Haney's like, I don't care if you and Tank are talking. I want to fight you, right? Like Lomachenko, I want you. Ryan, I want whoever's next. He's calling out all these guys, and I don't think anybody wants that smoke right now. Like, no one's in a rush. Notice how Tank didn't go back and forth with Haney the way he's going back and forth to Ryan Garcia on Twitter, right? Or on social media. Not that I could see. What do you think about that potential match of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia?
Man, I think that will be a classic bout, especially with the history those two have and the amateurs coming in as pros, adopting more of a pro style than really going out there trying to go at it, going forward. And, both of these guys, they want it bad. And I think both of them will put on a classic match, a match that fans will be entertained by. I can just see it really going down like that. Both of them are great skilled fighters. It'll be a pretty tough bout. I don't think it's going to be easy for Devin Haney going in here with this kid because this kid can fire back as well. But I do favor Devin Haney in the fight, but it's going to be a tough fight, and it's going to be a great matchup between these two, and especially two California kids going at it with one another. They will they have to put this at a pretty good venue, building up pretty well. But Devin Haney is doing the proper things to building up these fights, going to these fighters' fights, calling them out, getting inside the ring with them. This is what fight fans want to see. This is what people put their money behind bringing on these venues, not fans. I'm talking about the people that put the big dollars behind it. This type of stuff they want. And I think if Devin continues to put this pressure up on these guys, he's going to force their hands because the fans will force them, as they do not want to see this guy fighting guys who are aging their way up out of this game, guys who have been the leftover of other fighters. They're ready to see this guy up in there with another hot name prospect. And the buildup for this one is very easy. They have history. You got video of that. So now they're meeting as professionals early in the climb of their careers. Man, what better can you ask for? Nobody wants to see that marinating shit with these young fighters. And then if it's such a close or a tightly competitive fight, they'll do it again down the line. So make this shit happen. This is what the fans want. This is what both fighters, I believe, want as well. But I think it will be a pretty solid fight. But I favor Devin in this one. But it ain't no easy walk. It's going to be a close fight. But that's all I got on that.
Interesting take there. Stormy, what do you think about Devin Haney calling out all these guys, him and his dad? Like they're just going on tour, calling out everybody. Okay.
Well, that's what you do when you want to put a stake in the ground and plan it and draw a line in the sand and say, hey, look, do not pass here. Otherwise, you got to deal with me. That's what you're supposed to do. That's acting like a champion, which Devin Haney is, by the way. Forget about that champion in recess mess that they've tried to pull, because they're going to try to make sure someone else gets a chance to hold that title before he gets back. But that's down the line. But that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
forget about the franchise championship too.
Right. You're supposed to put your face in front of the public and the cameras and the fighters in the ring. And I thought that was excellent. It's something that has been done in the past, in recent past eras. We've seen that. And also what it does is it puts the audience on notice that there is somebody besides that electrifying fighter that they just happened to witness, who's out there willing and able and ready to take on his whatever he has to bring, whether he's going to take him on as an opponent, as a challenger, or he's challenging him or whatever. This stimulates the sport. And it's not a WWF moment, where in wrestling they have a guy come out and he's like, oh, I'm going to get you at the next event and all this. It's not that. It's like Devin is an accomplished fighter, even more so than Ryan at this particular time, although Ryan, this was his night. And when you go out like that, and remind you, what was it, just last week, he was putting AB's name out there. And then after this situation, he's got, he's doing stare-offs with Mikey Garcia. He's doing it the right way, because some people might use that term of clout chasing, but it's not. He's fulfilling the space of having options. See, he's a smart man. His dad and they're doing a smart thing. Look at how many fights he has potentially on the table right now. Not just the guy that come back with the title that he lost, but AB, Ryan Garcia, possibly Mikey Garcia, and Tank Davis. That's 5 fights for him. You know what I'm saying? And he's the guy that's kind of out front, name-wise and everything, and as far as accomplishments. So I think it's an excellent move, and I'm just waiting to see which contract gets signed, and I'll be there to watch.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't really disagree with anything you just said. Devin Haney, it's not just that he wants smoke guy. This guy is turning the shit on fire. Okay, like fuck the smoke. Like I'm just gonna burn this shit down. You know that story of the wolf that goes to every house, right? I'm gonna huff and puff and blow your fucking house down. That's Devin Haney. Like he's going house to house to house. Let's see what you're made of right now. I'm gonna huff and puff. See what you got. And it's like I want to do it now. He's got that confidence. He feels like I'm the best, so I don't give a shit who I fight. Get him in the ring. Devin Haney is like, I'll take on all of y'all. Who wants to fight me? Adrian Broner, you're going to come here? Well, what's going on? Who wants to fight? Right? This is a guy that wants these fights, guys. He's trying to get the fights done. He's going out there, calling out these names. G-Funk, what do you want to see next for Ryan Garcia, man?
Well, what I want to see next for him is, obviously to keep stepping up in competition. It's looking most likely like he's probably going to fight Linares next, which I don't mind. I mean, I think that's a real good step up for him, especially from what we saw from Linares on Friday night. Also, but to talk about this Devin Haney thing, man. I mean, of course I love it, man. I love when these guys get in the ring. They get face to face with the guy that they want to fight, and they say, "Hey, let's get this thing on, man. Let's do this." The unfortunate thing about that is, that's not how all fights get made. That's the thing that sucks about it. If I could go back a few years to when Canelo Alvarez knocked out or he stopped Alfredo Angulo, he goes to his post-fight conference. Erislandy Lara walks up on the stage at the podium and is like, "Give me that mic."
That fight happened, though.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, like, because when he said, "Hey, look, man, we're both champions. Let's fight." And Canelo's response was, "Well, this is not how fights get made, you know?" and you know what the funny thing is? He wasn't lying. He's not lying.
Well, I have some thoughts about that. Go ahead. Go ahead. G-Funk fell off. Come on when you can, bro. You guys are tuning into Aftermath, February 17th edition, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us live every Monday for Aftermath. Tomorrow we'll have Ashy Knuckles, all right, on a puncher's chance. We'll get Ashy Knuckles breakdown on Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. So make sure you guys don't miss that tomorrow. Quick shout out to Mr. Tiptoe. What's going on? Stormy B Man doing double duty in the chat as well. What's going on? We have Cali Enigma, giving his thoughts as well. It says David Haney is Northern California versus Ryan Garcia, Southern California. That's a good storyline. Let's do it. And I do agree on your statement about keeping the chin very high, Garcia, and having the mouth open a lot. That's I definitely agree with you on that, Kelly. And he's got to fix that. And I do believe a Linares can expose that if he doesn't fix it. You know what I mean? But how much?
Don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought on what you were saying about the Lara thing at the press conference. I'd be interested in hearing what you said, what you had to say on that.
I got it. Okay. We're not going to forget about that. All right. But as far as, the just quick thoughts here, Linares had his fight, and we're not going to dive into that fight, you know what I mean? Because we don't got time for everything. But Linares, bro, is a bleeder, dude. This dude bleeds more in a fight than a woman bleeds throughout an entire, period, dude. This guy, you just wind passes by and he's bleeding all over the place. He could be dominating the fight. Dude's bleeding all over the place. Linares is a little bit of, in my opinion, a little bit of damaged goods. All right. He might test Garcia a little bit, but man, I'm past the testing phase. Let's just get the guy in there. If he goes in there and loses, it might be better for him in the long run anyway. All right. Maybe it'll help him learn how to tuck his fucking chin if that were to happen. Okay. But I do believe that Ryan Garcia definitely wins that fight at this point, if anything. Now, look, man, this is not how fights get made. Look, Lara chased Canelo. He almost shamed him into fighting him. I'll never forget when Lara is standing in his face saying, "Let's fight." And Canelo looks at the, pussy ass media, okay? And he goes, "Do you guys want to see this fight? Do you want to see the fight?" All right? And you can hear the pussies in the background. "No, we don't want to see the fight." Oh, fuck you. How about that? Bunch of fucking pussies. You know what's ironic, though? When Canelo was in the fight Golovkin, the first guy he talked about was Lara and how Golovkin didn't want to fight Lara, but I did. He quickly took credit for that win. All right? All of a sudden talking about how he's fought tough opposition. Golovkin has. And look, he used Lara as an example for tough opposition. So it turned out that having Lara on your resume was a big fucking deal. Right? But with that said, I'll just never forget that. But that's not how fights get made. Fuck how they've been making fights. How about that? All right? Fuck that. Where the demand? The fans. If we demand a fucking fight, not the media, by the way, the fans, the ones that fund the sport, not the ones that leech off the fucking sport, the ones that fund it. The fans, where the fucking demand. We call the shots. And if we say we want to see Ryan Garcia get in there against top opposition, we want to see this guy, we want to see Tank fight Haney. We want to see Lomachenko fight Haney. We want to see Lomachenko fight Tank. So on and so forth, we get to say that. That's how fights get made. We don't make fights waiting and see what the promoters do. Oh, be a good boy, T-Style. Just wait and see what fight they give you. How many more tune-ups does Ryan Garcia need? What are we doing? And by the way, why does everybody have a WBC belt nowadays? Like everywhere I look, someone has a WBC belt. What belt is that? Everyone has a fucking WBC belt. I went to visit my grandmother the other day. She had a WBC belt, like draped across her, her shoulder and shit. Well, what's going on? ¿Qué pasó, mijo? How'd you get that? Suleiman gave it to me. I beat up that cat and it won't stop coming after my plants. All right? I got that belt. Everywhere I look, bro. All right? I went to 7-Eleven, dude in the counter, fucking WBC strap. Where'd you get that? I was fighting over a tall boy, knocked the dude out. Suleiman came and gave me a belt. Everyone's got a fucking belt, bro. Okay, the dude that oversees like the self checkout at Walmart, he's walking around with a WBC belt. All right, like I'm the champ. You try to steal some, I got you. All right, okay, this is getting out of hand. What's going on, Stormy? Why is everybody walking around with a WBC belt?
Man, your guess is as good as mine, but I got one around here somewhere, and I'm not lying to you.
That's a lot of green right there.
My best friend, listen, it's actually a WBC belt, championship belt buckle. You can put it on any belt. A good friend of mine gave it to me in high school, and I got it around. Maybe next show I'll break it out for you and put it out there on display. So I'm a champ too. But no, man, I don't know what's going on with these belts being spread around like that, which is why I think unification is even more important, because if you could get someone to unify in a division, they could discard those titles and become the man. You understand? And then they write the ticket. It's like, hey, I garnered all of those, maybe defend it once as an undisputed champion, and then say, hey, let the other peasants try to grovel over this, but nobody can state a claim to anything unless they come and whoop me. That would be one way to do it. But there are some guys right now who don't want to step up and fight and unify and become undisputed across the sport. But as I said, talking about the heavyweight division, and even now at 154, and now it looks like at 135, 130, the heat is on. It's like you have so much talent that the men who did not want to do the rightful thing, and that is to fight and bring the belts together so we could have one champion, one face for the divisions, that talent that's coming up on their heels, they're gonna take some of those championships away from some of these champions that were paper champions to begin with, and that's going to be exciting to see. The only thing is after they become a champion by taking the belt from someone who doesn't deserve it, then their promoters may start to pump the brakes then and say, oh, well, it's a business and, it's going to be hard to, that's what we're going to run into again with even a younger guy as a champ. But hopefully a guy like a Devin Haney in his division, and then you could get to 154 in that division and then go up to 168. These guys could step up, and someone who really wants to put it on the line and say, I'm the man. That's what we can hope for. And that's what we should push for with our platforms.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're right, Miguel Mondragon. Charlie Z is probably walking around with a fucking WBC belt right now. Okay, what's going on, Reggie? Why is everybody walking around with a WBC belt, bro? What's going on? You got one? I think you got one somewhere.
Yeah, I stayed at the Holiday Inn, and Mauricio walked into my hotel room, so it's hanging on the wall back here. So I don't know. I was wondering why the hell Ryan had a WBC as well, man. But
yeah, I don't understand. You know what I mean? And if they want to act like a champion, then let's treat them like a champion. Okay, get in the ring with Ain't then. You want to walk around with a belt? If he wasn't walking around with a belt, then I might give him a pass. But hey, really quick, Reggie, what do you think of the Linares fight? That's more than likely what they're going to do.
Yeah, you mean Linares fight on Saturday or him versus Ryan Garcia?
Him against Garcia.
Oh, man, I think Ryan will tear him up, man, because this dude, Carlos, was looking good against Linares. He was tapping Linares with that jab. He was staying away from Linares, but he didn't have enough pop on him. Ryan Garcia going to put some snap on them punches. He's taller than this Carlos dude. He's going to be able to touch Linares at long range. And Linares is Linares willing to try to work his way on the inside to get to this kid without being clipped with one of these, lightning speed power punches. So I think he'll make good work of Linares. Linares is aging. He's losing some steps against this lightning fast kid. It's going to be another kind of venue pleasing type event for him to please the crowd, look good on TV, move on to the next situation. But Linares is a good test. I can't take that away from Linares. He has a name. Linares has been in with some great names out there, but I think Ryan would touch him. Yeah, Ryan touching this guy up ain't gonna be good. So I'm favoring Ryan in this fight.
It's gonna be Ryan Garcia versus Jorge Linares. There will be blood. May 5th. Like, they're gonna call it there will be blood. Is what they're gonna call that fight, bro. Because I guarantee there's gonna be blood, bro. Right? I will say one thing. I will say. If Ryan Garcia doesn't fix that chin in the air problem, it is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Linares can clip him and knock him out, bro. It's not out. Remember when Amir Khan got knocked out by Prescott, and I think got knocked out another fight before the Danny Garcia fight. I could be wrong, but it happens. You know what I mean? Well, what do you think? Because that's where they're going, Stormy. They're going to go to Linares. They want to do this thing where, like, we don't know what they're about to do, but we all know they're going to do Linares next. What do you think about that fight as a test?
It's a good test. I don't think that Linares presents much more of a problem than the guy that he just beat, that Garcia just beat. However, he does have some pop on his punches. But then again, even when he is fighting in a high-profile fight, he underperforms. The way we saw him step up in this fight, engaging against a lesser opponent, he went in there, he committed to his shots, and he got the guy out of there. Why didn't he commit to his shots against Lomachenko? It was there for him. You could see him drop Lomachenko at the end of a punch. What if he got closer and closed that distance out and start nailing him. We don't know what could have happened because it's obvious he has pop on his punches. But I'm telling you, Garcia is not going to run into a problem until he fights an opponent who can fight. See, that's the thing. He's a fast boxer right now. Fast boxers always look good until they get into a fight. See, that's when you be able to gauge what your guy really has. And you guys are talking about Garcia's chin being up in the air. There's so many fighters in the class of boxing today that have their chins up in the air and their hands down and everything else. It's not going to be that. What it's going to be is when someone has it here, okay, and he has to be tested there. We're going to find out if he really has what it takes and what's at stake with him, because he likes being a high-profile guy that has these millions of followers on social media and all of that. But they can't help your ass in that ring, you see? And when you're in that ring and the heat get turned up on you, it can become a devastating thing, and your real character will come to surface. I can't overlook Donald Curry, who had Ryan Garcia type talent and was a world champion, a world beater. He was at the point of calling out guys like Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and all of this. And one fighter stepped in there that could fight him back and changed his whole career around. And then he went from losing that fight on his stool to getting knocked out by Mike McCallum. So it's like it can happen. You know what I mean? But right now, Linares, it's a good fight for Garcia, but he won't be able to fight him going in just looking to land power shots. They're going to have to teach him to set things up. You know, he was just banking on that guy doing something and countering. Linares is a more experienced fighter than that. And he's already witnessed the power or whatever, so he'll be a little more calculating. But yes, it's a good fight for him.
Shout out to Batman Tweet. Says The Last Dragon. Remember that movie? Belt is only good for your pants. Habitat says Linares has always been a bleeder. And shout out to Christian NWO. Danny Garcia's baby has the WBC. Tone Brown, what's going on? And Cali Enigma says WBC is about to come out with another belt, and he's dead ass serious. Bro, that's not breaking news, bro. We all know that's what they're going to do at some point, but I got you. Okay. Cali says he thinks Ryan Garcia is the truth. But he does have a lot of things to fix, though, if I'm honest. Nassim the Dream, what's going on, bro? He says Garcia looked fast, but when he gets hit back over and over, I hope he is not Khan. Well, there's only one way to find out when they touch that chin. I mean, in a way, guys, Linares was Ryan Garcia at one point in his career. And then he got in there against a dude that was able to take all his punches, and he got knocked out. You know what I mean? And he also got knocked out early in one of his fights. But we just don't know where Ryan Garcia is going to go from here. Wookie Wook doesn't even think he'll get past it now. He says, I don't see it. I feel what Stormy is saying. When Ryan gets in there with a real bull like Sean Porter type of fight, then what? Well, that's going to be something to see. What's up, Jay Cole? How you doing? Mr. Mail Advice DIY, how's it going, bro? Shout out to everyone. I know I can't get to everybody, but I try my best. But shout out to everyone, by the way. Make sure you throw a jab. Throw a jab at the like button. You're tuning in to February 17th edition of Aftermath. Catch it every Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. With that said, all right, just look at this picture of Linares after his last fight. I mean, goddamn, look at all that blood, bro. This dude is just red all over the place, bro. Okay. Like this, my God, bro. This dude gets hit with a jab and he's bloody all over the place, dude. It's insane, dude. Like, what type of thin ass skin? This dude's so thin skin. You tell me your mama joke and just point out a Glock, bro. Okay, he's thin skin. All right, I'm just saying. But shout out to Jorge Linares, nonetheless. The dude is a warrior, and I think he's just a bleeder. All right, that's that. With that said, man, let's jump to the Fox card. By the way, the ratings were up from the last Fox card. This is really good. This was in Nashville, Tennessee. It was pretty packed in there, not sold out, but packed. And you could see it. It's good to see a boxing event with enthusiasm and people that are into the fight and that have a vested interest. You know, people that actually bought it and, you know, went to their PBC. Good call on putting this fight in Nashville, Tennessee, in the hometown of Caleb Plant, right? This is where the dude grew up. This is where the guy's from, you know, so, you know, he's, you know, representing, and Nashville showed up, bro. Okay. These people left their honky tonk and bars. They left, okay, the country bars over there in Nashville to show up to see Caleb Plant fight. All right. And that tells you a lot on a Saturday night, bro. Like, I'm just saying, right? They're like, I'm going to take my cowboy boots to the fight. All right. For those who don't know, Nashville is the home of country music. Okay. So, anyway, with that said, Caleb Plant, I didn't know this until today, actually, but his wife, Jordan Plant, sang the national anthem, right, for his fight. I don't think that's ever been done, right? The wife sang the national anthem. He went in there, whooped ass. I'm saying, right? So shout out to them. But before we get to the Caleb Plant fight, I also want to give him a shout out because on the post fight, he did say that he wants to fight more in Nashville. He talked about the local fighters. They got to fight on the card. So he wants to keep fighting there. So a lot of the local fighters have a venue to fight in and stuff like that to get their names out there. And he talked about wanting to put Nashville on the map when it comes to boxing. All right. But before we get to the Vigenbutz fight, Abel Ramos won by stoppage. Yo. I couldn't believe this, but Jack Reese stopped the fight, Reggie. The dude stopped the fight. Brian was up 88-83 on all the cards. Okay, there was 1 second left. Literally. Jack Reese stopped the fight. Jack Reese once again, the center of attention. The center of the unit, bro. Let me tell you something. Jack Reese, you know how there's a debate about what's the center of the universe, right? Is it the Earth? Is it the sun? Jack Reese saying, "No, I'm the center of the universe. Me, okay? Everything revolves around me. The sun goes around me, motherfuckers. Okay, I don't go around the sun, right? The sun will be there. What you say? You go around me, Reggie. What's going on? How'd you see the fight itself, but also, most importantly, the stoppage?
Man, the end of this fight pissed me off mightily. But in this fight, man, I seen this dude, Brian Pereira, you know, pretty much cruising away with these rounds, just utilizing this jab, keeping this guy at bay. This fighter, Abel, really couldn't find a way on the inside. He really didn't use a jab. His thing was to load up on that right hand. He was trying to get that right hand to Brian Pereira, but he wasn't able to get there as much as he needed to. And Brian was able to take some of those right hands that landed early in the fight. But the one thing Pereira was doing is he hurt Abel quite a few times in this fight. He buckled him, had this dude wobbling, trying to regain himself. The thing that Brian didn't do was go on the attack to finish this guy off. He just played it safe. Stuck back to the jab, allowing this dude Abel to recover in the fight. Now, towards like the middle part of the fight is where Abel kind of just didn't show any respect to Brian's power. He just kept moving forward on the inside. He was willing to take a shot just to get in range and get his shots off, and it ended up paying off for him in that final round. Because I was saying, if anybody was to get knocked out when I was doing the play-by-play, if anybody's gonna get knocked out or drop, it's gonna be Brian, because he's not showing any killer instinct. The 2 or 3 times he didn't hurt Abel, he didn't do anything follow behind it. So Abel's like, the hell, this guy's tall and lengthy. He's keeping me at the jab. I just have to sacrifice and take what I get just to get mine off. And he kept moving forward, and he landed that nice uppercut, dropping this dude. But ultimately, what I thought he needed was a stoppage to win this fight. Even knocking this guy down the 2 times in that final round and do it. And now for Jack Reese to go about stopping the effing fight the way he did, Jack Reese know damn well, because when I turned it up, I can hear that clown, that college paper writing clown, who used to work at ESPN, Brian Kenny, trying to defend it, and also Joe Goosen, not to go so much on Joe Goosen, but both of them trying to defend Jack Reese by stating it's not his job to view, view the time. But Jack Reese know damn well he heard that 10-second warning bell go off, so he could have had that in his mind. And also, when the guy went down for the second punch, it wasn't like he was hit with a devastating punch. He was hit with a punch that kind of pushed him back, and it knocked him off balance. Now, when he gets up, Jack Reese gives that instruction to go off right. The guy had a little a trip or whatever, but that's not enough to stop the fight, especially when you know it's 1 effing second on the damn fight. You couldn't let that one go on. By the time you would have called the fight back to action, the bell would have rung. Now that I was wishing that coach would have grabbed Jack Reese around the throat. That's what was going to have to happen with Jack Reese. So someone's going to have to really make an example. If I was a trainer, it would have been worth me getting suspended or whatnot to choke the shit out of Jack Reese, because ultimately you have effed up a lot of things for this kid, Brian, to put that kind of work in. To make it to the final round, you stop a fight with 1 damn second left on the clock, knowing damn well what's going on. Because even Jack Reese, when he speaks about what he did in that Tyson Fury thing, he speaks about what he states his decision was great for boxing, or it was great for these two fighters. And here, like you state, Jack Reese
said it was for the greater good of boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
He said it was for the greater good of boxing.
Yeah, and that's him once he putting himself in front of the sport, putting himself right in front. Now in this event, he did the same thing. I guess this is for the greater good of boxing as well. He has it to where he's cost the guy a victory 1 second on the clock, because even after this the knockdown, the judges still would have gave Perella a majority decision. So this got to be something that just really pisses you off, especially for you not to get lights out type knockout, and then you have a ref to do that to you, man. Jack Reese, like I was stating, I hope he gets suspended, but it takes for this team to really push it, because something has to be addressed with Jack Reese. And I'm like, why is he even in this damn state? And I was tripping when he did the fight before this one, and then to see him right back in the ring, I'm like, what the hell is going on with this one? But lucky they didn't let him do that main event fight, and I'm pretty sure he's probably he's probably the referee for the Caleb Plant fight, but I think they removed his ass. But yeah, that's all I got on that.
Go ahead, Stormy. Well, what are your thoughts on? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm off mute now. Man, this referee Jack Reese. What's interesting is I didn't know his name really prior to the Wilder Fury fight, where he imposed himself on that fight. But I had seen him behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but on other cards where they had him doing multiple fights in a night and whatnot. And I was like, why do they keep sticking this guy in there? And I didn't like how he would impose himself in the action. One of the fights that I watched, where I don't remember the fighters, but I remember the incident. It was like someone was doing some rough house tactics and stuff like that, and he kept warning the guy, but it was like it was soft warnings. He was not threatening to take a point away or whatever, and he let the fighter that was on the receiving end of the rough house tactics get beaten pillar to post pretty much. And when I saw the Wilder Fury incident, that sealed it for me, because in all my years of watching boxing, I never saw a referee literally try to wake a guy up, to allow him to continue a fight when it was obvious, blatantly obvious, that the guy was done. And it's the 12th round of a rough fight between two heavyweights. You don't do that. And what I remarked after that fight first took place was, if Fury had gone back to his hotel and suffered a coma in his sleep or something or whatever, you would have to look at Jack Reese, because the way he was knocked out, if he had waved it off, they would have taken him for medical observation under those auspices. But what happened was he did go a little bit later or whatever. But again, you gave a window for something bad to happen here because he was in there with such a devastating puncher. But not only that, it was a grueling fight. We lost the talent of Gerald McClellan for people not looking out for his best interests in a fight where he was having some difficulty, but no one could pick up on the signs. And they just kept putting him out there. You're a warrior. Go out on your shield. No, he wants to go home to his family with all his faculties in order. And this is the sorry thing where you got a referee out there who is making on-the-spot decisions that they have trained. They have brought themselves to these events, able to settle with what they bring to the ring or those judges outside. The ref has nothing to do with that. The ref doesn't score the fight. The ref is supposed to make sure fouls don't take place and that nothing illegal is happening in the midst of the action and everything. Outside of that, you're not doing the grade of boxing any good. Okay, it's not on you for that. Get this guy the hell out of there.
A couple of things about Jack Reese. I've seen him tell fighters if like, man, you guys better fight or they're gonna take your purse. Like he has no say in that, by the way, but he's said things like that. Here's my problem with Jack Reese. His method of checking how if the fighter's okay is not a very good method of doing things. Okay. Like, just look at the fighter, tell him to come to you and grab him by the wrist, the good old rub, and that's it. Okay, I think that is enough, and it also doesn't give him that much time, right? If we keep going this route, right, like, okay, walk this way. Okay, hold on. Oh, walk that way. What are we going to do next? What's next? Are we going to have a line in the middle of the ring? All right, so they could walk the line like drunks do when they get pulled over by cops or something? Are we going to ask them to lift the leg for a minute to see if they're all right? Are we going to take it to a sobriety test level? Is that what we're doing? Now, I've been saying this for a long time, because not just with Jack Reese, but other fights like Butte, Andrade comes to mind, and things of that nature. But this is my opinion. But I do believe that when there is a knockdown, while the ref is doing the count, right, the fight clock should stop automatically. They should stop the fight clock right then and there, right? There's a minute left in the round. You get knocked down. The fight clock stops. The ref counts 1, 2, all the way to 8. You all right? Okay, cool. Right? Come to me. All right. Box. When the ref says box, you restart the fight clock. The reason for that, I've seen a lot of situations where refs are going out of the way to extend the round, right? To give the guy that's hurt enough time. Now, I know that didn't happen in this case, but it did come to mind, all right? That did come to mind. And you know, those are my thoughts on that. The whole method of walk this way, that way, I don't like that at all, all right? I'm not a fan of that whatsoever, all right? So my thoughts on that. As far as the stoppage, that was a bad stoppage, all right? The guy got up and he literally walked the direction you told him to walk. You know, it's kind of like, if that's the way you're going to do it, okay, do it that way. But you don't get, like, if they walk it, you know, like you don't get to pick and choose when to stop it. You know what I mean? Especially with a minute left in the fight. Those are my thoughts on that. He could have let the fight continue, but he didn't. What are you going to do? All right. That's that with Jack Reese. Dude should retire, in my opinion. Okay. Not just with stoppages, just in general. He's botched a lot of fights. And and or at the very least has had a lot of controversial situations. I think he tries to make himself the center of everything that's going on right there. All right. Um, I believe we got G Funk on. What's going? We do. What's going on, G Funk? G Funk.
Yo, you guys hear me? You guys hear me?
We hear. We understand you. Yes. Right to it, bro. What you think of the stoppage? The Perella Ramos fight.
Oh man, that's the one where the referee stopped it with a second to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was listening to what you guys were saying while I was trying to work on this thing. Now I got to do the show from my phone. I don't know what's going on with this computer, but no, I agree with what you guys said, man. This guy's got to be stopped, man. This dude, Jack Reese. That's just crazy for him to stop the fight with 1 second left. And then, like you guys said already, he asked the guy to walk this way, walk that way. He does everything he asked him to do, and then he just stops the fight.
It was like Aerosmith, bro. This was like, walk this way, walk that way. You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. Now give me a spin. They did everything for the guy.
Yeah, man. That's just crazy, man. It was clear that the dude was okay. And not only that, but with the amount of time left in the round, like, what could possibly be done to this guy? You know, like, there's no way. If he's like, okay, let's continue the fight. The fight's over, literally over in 1 second. So I mean, like, that just doesn't make any sense, man.
Dude, this brought shades to me. Although this one was actually worse in my opinion by far, but it did remind me of Tater Chavez. But the Tater Chavez one, to me, there's more of a debate behind that. You know what I mean? But in this one, like, the dude literally walked the way you told him to walk. You know, and you still stopped it.
He did everything.
It was crazy. You know what I mean? And the fact is, I could do 9 out of 10 refs don't stop that fight. They just don't stop it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Man, I know I missed a lot when I was off, man.
Well, we're gonna move on, but
yeah,
it's all good, bro.
I just wanted to talk about.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention about how I was talking about the Canelo when I was talking about when Lara called him out. Like, I just want to make my stance clear. I wasn't trying to make an excuse as to why the fight can happen with Haney and Garcia. I want that fight to happen, but I just think, unfortunately, the way that the business is ran, you know, it probably won't happen this year. Maybe next year, we'll see. But the only reason why I was bringing up that point with Canelo and Lara is because, you know, like Canelo said, like right after Lara said, "Hey man, let's fight," he was like, "Well, this ain't how fights get made," and it's like he's right. Like, that's really not how it gets made, even though that fight got made. But for the most part, we know that that's not how fights get made, especially guys that are in a position like him. And Garcia is a guy who's going to be probably in that position pretty soon, the way that they're building him. You know, he's already got a big following on social media. There was a pretty decent-sized crowd there at that arena that they fought at. So, you know, they're going to stall this thing out. So, I mean, it sucks, but that's just, you know, that's boxing these days, man. But I like the fact that Haney's saying he wants to fight, man. And he's not just him, but everybody else in the division, too.
Absolutely, man. So we're going to go ahead and move to Plant. And it's TKO victory in the 10th round against Figenbutz. I still can't pronounce that name, but it is what it is. It really is. Okay. Look, man, Caleb Plant. All right. I mean, holy shit. He beat the shit out of Vincent Figenbutz. Okay. This is why I watch film. Okay. Because I was listening, you know, to some people out there saying, "Oh, this Figenbutz guy, I mean, he brings it, bro. He's going to be a fight, man. You just," and I'm like, okay, I could take their word for it. I could look at this dude myself. Okay. Looked him up. I didn't just go to BoxRec, because if you go to BoxRec, I mean, dude looks like a beast. Okay. I mean, the dude was like, I went over his record and everything with Ashley last week, and like, it looks great. right? But let me tell you something, man. Dude goes out there and he beats the hell out of him. I mean, too basic for a guy of Caleb Plant's stature. Okay. The jab alone. Like Caleb Plant could have won this fight with just a jab if he wanted to. He could have just jabbed Vincent Figueroa all night and won this fight. Okay. Just with a jab alone, he would have beaten this dude. All right. But he was putting punches together. I loved the uppercut, okay, with the lead hand. It was short down the pipe. I mean, finger butts. I mean, talk about west to east, man, with the elbows, okay, as he's trying to cover up, leaving himself wide open to the uppercut. And Plant, was able to see those openings. He made it a little easy for him, if we're honest. However, I still see a lot of the same intangibles there. The reflexes are there. On the spot, making up his combinations as he's throwing the punches, okay? Bam, he lands that jab. He's navigating the scene. Bam, body shot. He's navigating the scene. Okay, you're open here. Bam. And he continues a combination. It is not a pre-coded combination that he's throwing. He's doing it on that situation. Look at his eyes. Look how he's navigating the fighter. I mean, this guy is something, man. He actually uses the shell very well. He uses it in spots, right? It was a little easy, we're honest, against this guy, right? But nonetheless, I mean, he put on a show, right? I honestly believe he carried him for a little bit to put on a show in front of his fans. When he finally started to let his hands go even more, he just overwhelmed them. You want to cover up against me? I'm going to keep throwing these combinations. And he finished them. Shout out to the ref. It was a good stoppage. You could argue, could have probably stopped it even a little earlier. Okay, but he went ahead, stopped the fight. The guy was not in the fight. He was getting his ass beat. He was just taking a sustained amount of punishment throughout the fight. Fagan Butts has nothing to offer. How'd you see the fight, Stormy? Stormy B man, how'd you see the fight?
I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sitting here thinking Feigenbus didn't belong in the ring with him. They went and found a guy who had a decent enough record and a reputation for being a fighter, slugger, a strong guy. And he was strong, but he was not on Plant's level at all. Now, what they did successfully was they allowed him to have a homecoming without an upset, and that was a good thing because we've been seeing guys get upset in their hometowns trying to defend their titles as of late. But the thing about Feigenbutts, and I had never heard of the guy prior to the fight. After like the second or third round, I realized what we were looking at because I was able to make an assessment of Feigenbutts. It was no slam on Caleb Plant because he's fighting who they put in front of him. And it was a showcase for him, a lot like Ryan Garcia. Now, the fact that he didn't get the guy out of there, that is what you should have a cause for concern because the guy was not on his level, but he was strong. But when you have a guy who is strong and is not on your level, there are things that you do to break him down. Caleb didn't do that. And see, that's the part that I'm concerned with when you talk about, what you were saying early in the show or just before we went live about future opponents. In this fight, there were certain things. Once it was established that this guy was not going to beat him, then you have to take it. You're the champion. You have to take it to that next level and pull the rug out for the guy on his night. Now, again, they did go rounds. He got rounds in. He had a victory in front of his hometown crowd. His wife sitting out there in the audience, all of that. That was all good stuff. But that guy is not on his level. What happens with a guy on his level? See, Now you have to make a proper assessment of his talent. I had remarked that I liked Caleb's boxing ability, but I wish he had a little bit more of pop on his punches. But there was not a concentrated effort to get body work in. There was just, it was a successful performance, but I saw some problems there, not for Feigenbutts, but for who may be in there with him in the future. And I can't gloss over that because he's a champion now, you see. And these are those kind of things, I've said it so many times before about guys getting titles before they really know how to fight. And I wonder if Caleb's going to be one of those guys, if his face will hold up, because he looks like he takes damage and it's like, a cut is waiting to happen or something like that. I'm not wishing nothing bad on the guy. It's just that I've kind of seen these kind of things go this way. But I hope that he can tighten things up. He's in there with a different opponent, maybe a higher caliber opponent, and he'll be able to correct some of the things that he wasn't able to get done on this night. But hats off to him for getting through that and having a successful defense of his title in his hometown.
Wilk says, I agree with you, Stormy, but I think Caleb got the heart to go along with it. So what do you think, Reggie? What do you think of the performance of Caleb Plant?
Can I say one more thing though before Reggie go?
Go ahead.
Wookie Wook comment.
Sure.
Heart is just a part of what you bring. You have to have this up here too. You have to have smarts, okay? Because in fights against higher caliber fighters, you have to have the boxing IQ. You have to know what to do under circumstances. With guys that are not on your level, you can get away with a lot. You have to be really irresponsible to let that guy come out there and hit you on your chin and get rid of you. But against higher caliber guys who can think in there on your level, who can compete physically on your level with their skill set in this, that, and the other, is some heart is not just going to bring you home. You have to have smarts and ability. Go ahead. Sorry.
So go ahead, Reggie.
No, I thought the performance was masterful. I think, and I believe Kalos is the top guy in this division. I think everything was right in line. I've seen it displayed from Caleb time and time again. I don't see anyone at this division giving him anything unless they can pressure. The only flaw I see with Caleb, and that's what Nassim was talking in the comments, was you see a little bit of gassing, a little bit of fatiguing, but I think that could be the natural fatiguing. Not sure if he reached a point to where you see how he goes about getting his second win, because he is working with the best strength and conditioning coach in the sport of boxing.
What's his name?
Larry Wade.
Larry Wade, okay.
But he does go through that where you do see a little bit of gassing, where you've seen it in this Scotty fight. But I think Caleb's complete. He's a complete fighter. I can't take nothing away from him. Hand speed, his ability to think, to me, is on key with anybody that's out there. But now going forward into some of the better competition, that's what he's been calling for. With the Benavidez things, I think he's ready, and I'm ready to see it. But now I didn't read something where they talking about Benavidez versus Lionel Thompson. I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? But so it may push us back to getting the unification bout between these two, and they're talking. They're going back and forth talking. But now Benavidez goes into this fight. Don't think it's on Benavidez as these damn people in suits bringing about something people don't want to see, trying to let something prolong. But I think Caleb Plant he's on point. He's flawless to me. I can't knock anything with him except the cardio thing. Yeah, he fades, but I have to see if he can catch a second win when he reaches those points as well. But that's all I got on that.
Well, let me just say, Reggie, first of all, I put on a suit every morning when I go to work. You got an issue with people with suits, Reggie?
I wear a suit too, and I don't like it because I think I look like a sucker in it.
She's like, I even hit myself in a damn suit. All right, god damn. But How'd you see it, G Funk? How'd you see Caleb Plant against Vincent Fagan Butts?
Yeah. First, I want to say, I love wearing suits, man. I think I look kind of good in them. But nah, man. I thought he looked real good, especially against this guy Fagan Butts. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. Yeah, he was the guy who was kind of built up as this tough dude, but we see sometimes just being tough by itself doesn't always get you to that next level. But Plant, yeah, I thought he looked really good. I thought he showcased his skills perfectly the way that he supposed to in these kind of fights against these kind of opponents. He showed out in front of the hometown crowd, throwing good punches from all angles. Looking like he's a guy who's ready for a good title defense against possibly Benavidez, which I think would be a good fight. But he did his thing, man. He did what he was supposed to do in there against this dude. And it's one thing to have a showcase fight and just look okay and then go the distance with somebody, but then it's another thing to go out there and just blast guys out of there like Garcia did Friday, or just straight up outclass the dude the way that Plant did. Thought it was a good stoppage by the referee. The dude was just taking too many shots. The guys corner Fagan Butts, man, they didn't care about this kid, man. They want to let him walk through hell before they stopped the fight. I mean, he was taking shots from every angle, and I'm just like, man, like, well, they need to stop it, man, or somebody got to stop it, the ref or the corner, somebody. But Plant did his thing, man, and we'll see what's going to happen with him next, man. There's some names out there for him to fight in that division, and I'm real anxious to see who he fights next.
Well, first of all, press 1 if you look good in a suit. Okay, that's number 1, right? I don't wear them during the show, but maybe 2020 awards show, I'll put on a suit, okay, for the camera or something. Special occasion, something like that. You guys are listening to the February 17th edition of Aftermath. All right. We're being joined by Reggie Owen, Stormy B-Man, and G-Funk. Make sure you check out the rest of the lineup tomorrow. Ashy Knuckles on a puncher's chance. Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Let's get a 40 likes ASAP. All right. And also make sure you hit the like button. I'm sorry, the bell button. That way you're notified every time D-Style Boxing comes on live on shows like this one. All right. I need to address this. All right. Reggie, what do you mean you don't see anyone who will give him any issues at 168? I need you to elaborate on that, if you may.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no
I think with Benavidez, many people, Benavidez to me will be, I can't call him simple, damn, even though I want to use it, but I think it'll be an easy equation for him to solve. I think Andre Durrell, is that Andre or Anthony Durrell, was having great success until he got in there, got too comfortable in there with Benavidez, and he played around, and he got popped with a jab that opened a cut on his eyes.
This is your daily reminder that Durrell is not a Fagan Butts. But go ahead.
but beyond that, Durrell was looking very good against Benavidez. He was frustrating Benavidez. Go back and watch that fight before that cut. He was frustrating Benavidez. Benavidez wasn't able to figure the movement out. All it took for Durrell to do, jab, step him over to the side. Jab, step him over to the side. Bring him on the inside. Surprise him a little bit. Work him on the inside. Move on out. And Caleb is very swift, much more swift than Andre Durrell. He has the height. His height is comparable. His reach is comparable. The hand speed is there, and this kid can get in there and get out. He doesn't have to sit in there and bang with Benavidez. Now we got to see how well he can absorb Benavidez. Just because Benavidez throws shots, what Caleb Plant does well is he rolls well with shots. He absorbs and catches a lot of punches pretty well. So can Benavidez get a clean shot? Now, in that Ronald Gavril fight is the one thing I always bring up. You seen taking Benavidez late into these fights. Not sure if he's changed that, but to that Graville fight, who's not at the same level, he's able to take this guy deeper, change things, and even dropping Benavidez in the fight. So we'll have to see what happens. But I like Caleb Plant in there. Them other cats, who was that? Billy Joe Saunders. Don't see nothing really good with him. Didn't see that 160 that much as they propped him up. And then Colin Smith, I really don't see it. Hell no, I don't see it. But yeah, that's why I got him. But I'll definitely have to. I don't want to underestimate Benavidez, but I think with movement, a fast jab, and just shifting this guy, you can do some work with Benavidez.
Look, I gotta tell you, like, I was impressed with what Caleb Plant did. But Rich, right? Let me say this, okay? Pressure bust pipes, bro. Okay, like everything you're talking about. Oh, he's just gonna spin out of the way and like all that sounds good. You know what I mean? Until you're huffing and puffing, okay? Until your legs feel tired, right? Like he's gonna feel the pressure of Benavidez, bro. Like I don't think the pressure's gonna stop, which brings us to the next topic. Caleb Plant called out David Benavidez, right? So I'll give him credit for that. It's who he wants. By the way, these two guys, bad blood, bro. They don't like each other, right? They honestly do not like each other. Like they're talking a lot of shit to each other, right? So to me, why not? Let's get the fight going. Stormy, what do you think about him calling out Benavidez and that potential matchup? Who do you project to win?
Riddick Bowe used to have this saying when he was heavyweight champion. He said, "You're never too old for your wants to hurt you." He can call out Benavidez all he wants, but that's the one fight that I don't see him coming out of victoriously for what you just stated. If he got fatigued against Vincent in this last fight here, he's going to be really fatigued trying to stay away from Benavidez and keep this big, young, rangy fighter off of him. And mind you that Benavidez has ability, but he takes pleasure in hunting guys down and bullying them and things like that. So that is something, it's going to be a battle of the intestinal fortitude that Caleb brings to the fight, which I don't doubt he has. But will he be able to last? You know, we're talking about 12-round fight, and Benavidez gets going like round 5, 6, 7, like that. That's when he starts to pick it up. So I can see him jumping out to an early lead, but I could see him running into some trouble too. And you heard me mention that his face, to me, seems to be kind of like Lomachenko, like his face is ready to break open. I don't know if he's taking a lot of punishment in the gym or whatever like that, or if he sparring without headgear and stuff. But against a fighter who's big and strong like Benavidez, who has heavy hands and things like that, it could definitely be there's a lot of Caleb Plant, supporters out there. It could be very disappointing if he's not up to task. And remember, I said earlier, I wish he had just a little bit more pop on his punches, because if he couldn't really hurt Bagavance or whatever his name was, what is he going to do with Benavidez, who's coming down from heavier weights to fight at that weight class? It's just going to be an interesting situation. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying clearly that Benavidez is going to beat him hands down, but that will probably, if he loses to somebody at that weight class, that could be the guy. And it will be an exciting fight because they're both young enough to do the things that you would like to see done. Even in the Durrell fight, Durrell wasn't really he wasn't really in the mindset of committing, especially after he got the cut. And he just fought at a tremendous deficit like that. And Benavidez just kind of steamrolled him over after that. But Caleb could run into similar problems. This is what happens when you have, again, I can't stress it enough, when you have guys that don't bring a totality to the championship level. There's always going to be somebody lacking enough of something to make everything interesting instead of just giving you a barn burner of a fight. This is going to be something that one man has a little more than the other, and it might be what's inside. That's my take on it.
Nice take there. Talk to us, G-Funk. How do you see a potential Caleb Plant fight with Benavidez? And what do you think about the fact that he called him out?
Oh, I like that he called him out. I think there was some talk about Canelo giving him an offer, and he's like, well, they're going to have to wait. I want Benavidez, and then, I could unify with him, and then we could fight. But, I always like when the champions want to fight each other. Man, who do I think will win? Man, this is an interesting matchup for me because you got a guy like Benavidez, big, tall, got the long arms, likes to throw a lot of punches. He's fast. And then you got Plant, who's kind of a counter puncher. He likes to, sometimes use that kind of shoulder roll defense thing and counter you off of your own shots. And it's a pretty good matchup, man. And it's a tough one to pick. But I think if I had to pick somebody, and I would roll with Benavidez just slightly because I agree with what you said, man. I think that the pressure might be a little too much for Plant. Although I do think that Plant will, have a lot of success, probably landing some shots on Benavidez because, he's pretty quick himself with the counter shots. But I think that if he won't be able to hurt Benavidez, and Benavidez is going to be all on him, man, it's going to be tough, man, for him to sustain that for 12 rounds. And I think that Benavidez could possibly knock him down late or even stop him late, maybe. But it's tough, man. It's a good matchup, and I would love to see it if they can get this thing done this year, man. I'll be real happy with this fight.
He did, in fact. They were asking him about a potential Canelo fight, and he said, "Look, I'm not going to." It was very vague how he said it, but he basically said, "Look, I want to unify the belts. So I want to fight Benavidez. I want to fight the other champions. If the Canelo fight presents itself, it presents itself. But he said, I'm not going to take the fight if I'm, just coming off a long training camp or something like that." So it's what he's basically saying. There's been a lot of debate on social media about his comments. A lot of Canelo supporters are saying he's ducking. It's strange how they can't make a fight happen with Canelo right now, right? Everyone is ducking Canelo, apparently, right? A career high payday. And they're talking about how he only fights in May and September. That's not even true anymore. Okay, the dude fought Rocky Fielding in December, and he fought it was December, right? And then he fought Kovalev in December. That's just not true. They can't accommodate dates, but that's another story. I do like the fact that even if behind closed doors he's thinking about the Canelo fight, he's not like sounding like a desperate groupie about the fight. Okay, like a lot of these dudes do, right? It's, create your own path, create your own destiny, and you don't have to chase anybody, right? So that's what I think about that. But what do you think, Reggie? He's not really worried about Canelo.
I love it. I'm glad he decided to turn it down because I think Canelo and them foul as hell for even approaching him for the fight. Like, how much time? It's almost like a strategy. Catch these guys when they're vulnerable. Like, how much time does the guy have to recover from this fight?
I don't want to cut you off, but did they approach him about the fight?
I heard that there was something about a contract or something offered to Caleb Plant. I don't know if it just came from a question, but I've been also hearing that it was that Oscar and their team approached him with an offer for the fight. And even Eddie Hearn was saying that was a possibility, and I think they did approach him. But it's too soon. Like, how you get a guy out of a fight then expect him to go right back into a camp that quick against a dangerous opponent. Like, you don't want to go in the fight just for the money to take a defeat. You want to go in there in the greatest of health to compete against someone who can really change your whole boxing situation, change your career. But here they go after somebody trying to give them what, 9 to 10 weeks to get back into this thing. Like, heck nah, this dude got to let his body rest, all that other stuff. And then the other two dudes turned them down. So it's showing that a lot of people in this boxing game ain't putting up with the cash cow games they thought they can play with Canelo, where people are just happy to get the opportunity of being in there with him. No, you got to pay people and you got to do it right. So I respect him doing that. Any other fighter would have jumped right in the ring to take that payday like a damn slave would. But I respect the move to turn this thing down for Canelo. But Canelo needs these other fighters, and now it's starting to show that things are beginning to change for Canelo. Definitely changing for Canelo.
Look, I want to get Stormy's and G-Funk's thoughts on the Canelo whole thing, but really quick, I gotta be honest though, I didn't see Plant tired at all in the fight. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure where that's coming from. I think he looked just fine. Like, you know what I mean? He was throwing his most powerful combinations in the 10th round of that entire fight. That's when the ref stepped in to stop it. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure about this gas tank thing. You know, at least not in this fight. If you guys want to comment on that as I go down the line, you may. But
I'll say about round 6 or so. I think he took a round off, a little bit of time off in the round, but he still ended up pulling this round off. I think it was round 6 it was, where he ended up taking that round off. What's the name got a little aggressive, but Caleb Plant just ended up, the dude wasn't really landing anything. And then also when he had a flurry, when Caleb went against the ropes a little bit, he took a little bit of time off, but the dude was missing so much. Caleb just get his rest and then turn it on and take the round back because the guy wasn't landing nothing. But he did take a little bit of time off in the rounds.
Yeah, I didn't see a stamina issue is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he did. You know what I mean? But, you know, we'll see if he fights Benavidez. Really quick, Wook says David applies pressure, but David gets hit a lot as well. Those type punches will tire you out, and it is the sweet science. He is going to have to mix in a little more body work if he wants to tire out Benavidez, though. Everyone is ducking Canelo, bro. Even dudes who already have opponents, says HA10. In my opinion, Plant needs to fix the gas tank before he takes on Benavidez. All right. And Wook said, let's be real. Not like David Benavidez has a hell of a gas tank either. Well, we'll see, of course. And Nassim does believe that he took a round off. Storm, any thoughts regarding that and also the Plant's response to a Canelo challenge?
Well, I felt that he did he did tire in the later portion of his fight, but I don't think it was significant enough to make a difference in the performance. He knew what he was trying to do. He tried to step it up to get the guy out of there and everything. But that being said, the opponent, if you notice, he did a lot of trying to block punches that landed cleanly from Plant. So it's like the guy was beaten up pretty good. He didn't have anything to pose a threat or to do something that could put Caleb in jeopardy later. He was just a physically strong kid, but the fight was beaten out of him by the time it ended and everything. Now, as far as Canelo is still looking for someone who's sweet, where he could still get that, steal something off of the kitchen table. He's that last piece of slice of pizza or something. Because his options are shrinking. I wouldn't be surprised if he tell everybody he's going to retire soon or something, because there's a number of fighters out there that have been chomping at the bit to fight him, but not under those contract clause and those nefarious deals that they've managed to work out behind the scenes for other fighters. But this would be a good fight for Caleb, because that's not a guy that I think can just like knock him out. I don't believe in Canelo's knockout power. I think the whole thing with Kovalev was a sham, but this would be a good fight for him because if he's able to defeat Canelo, then that gives him, that star luster or whatever. But he'd have to be wary because they would have certain things in the contract and everything that would line the ducks in the row for Canelo. That's what he does. He doesn't just go into a fight straight up and say, I want to fight this guy. There's always something that we don't know about that's stacking the cards in his favor. But that's a good fight. That's a good fight. I don't think Canelo looks in the direction of Billy Joe because there's something there that he's not confident about, whether it's Billy Joe submitting to what they'll agree to as far as terms contractually, or if it's something that he's wary of because Billy Joe has cheated in the past just like he has. You see that? But he wants to conform to what he's doing. But if somebody else is doing something too, hey, it's like, maybe I don't want to fly under that radar. You understand? So it should be said and it should be brought out into the open. But I'll pass it to someone else.
Go ahead, Stormy. I'm sorry, Chief Funk.
Well, is what I'm going to say. I mean, here's the thing, man. Every time we hear, we've seen it on social media the last couple of days about how Plant's ducking Canelo because he says he wants to have, time off in between camps, and, he feels like he's not going to have enough time to get ready for a May bout and all this type of stuff. Well, here's the thing, man. Every time we try to get Canelo to fight somebody that we want to see him fight, it's always, well, who's this guy fought? Who's he fought to get a chance? Well, we could ask the same question here, like, like it seems like they're all for it. And then when he says he wants a, full rest in between camps, now they want to make, all these stupid remarks about it and things like that. So, I mean, we know how crazy these fans are, but I really think that the problem is that I agree with what Stormy said. I think that they just A-side the hell out of these guys. And it's just too many things in those contracts that make these guys look and say, you know what, it's not even worth it. Like it's almost like I'm, the odds are so stacked. Like there's just no point in even doing it. And I agree with what Reggie said. I respect that he's saying, you know what, no, I'm not going to take this fight right now. I mean, Canelo, we don't even know what weight division this guy's fighting in anymore. Like he's all over the place, or his own made up weight. So I think it's more important for him and better for his career to go after Benavidez first and try to get that strap off of him. Then he might have a little bit of pull here with negotiations, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not an inside boxing guy. I don't know how these things go down. And to be honest with you, I don't even care because I'm not even in that side of the business. I just watch the damn fights and I want to see the fights. But I think that, honestly, I think the best move for him right now is just to fight Benavidez. I think that's a better fight for him. Try to unify in the division and let Canelo do whatever Canelo, it's wants, basically. So, I don't know, man. But I think that it would be an interesting fight if it happens. Plant's got that, again, he's got that counter-punching style that could give just about anybody problems, including Canelo. So, I think it would be an interesting fight, man. But, to me, it doesn't sound like he wants it because he wants to have, a full rest in between camps, which, I don't blame him. So, we'll see what happens, man.
I want to address that. So, one, I don't know. I just don't know if the fight's been presented or not. We don't know that. At least I don't have anything in front of me. It was a hypothetical kind of question that was presented to him by the reporter, at least the one I saw. It doesn't mean that a contract doesn't exist. It doesn't mean an offer hasn't been made. I mean, he is talking about it, and he's been asked about it consistently, even in the build-up to the fight. There's a video, I believe, by Fight Hub. It's out there. They asked him about it. You know what I mean? So I'm basing a lot of what he said off of that. And in the post fight, but I will say this though, we can't accuse Canelo of trying to get the guy with the nerdy camp if we don't have proof that there's like if someone can show me like, hey, Canelo wants to fight him in April, like, okay, I will agree 100%. You know what I mean? But we would have to know the dates and all that. And to be honest, if Canelo doesn't want to fight Plant and they offer him and it's a reasonable date, then I have to say that there's nothing wrong with the offer. Okay, doesn't mean if Plant doesn't want to fight him and he just wants to fight Benavidez instead, he can say that. But I'm not ready to say that they're trying to catch him in an early date or anything like that. I don't see that. If let's say the fight's in May, right? Cinco de Mayo, there's enough time. Like, you know, he has the rest of this month, March, April. There's enough time. Like, he didn't take like this wasn't a war that he was in. It's not like Figure Butts landed a massive amount of punches on the guy. If we fight, I'm just going on record. If Canelo Alvarez offered for Cinco de Mayo weekend, if he offered Caleb Plant a fight, right, and it's not about doesn't mean again if they're shorting him on money, I get it. If they're offering him like G Funk said, A-site the shit out of him, some rehydration clause bullshit, some whatever it is, okay. All that aside, if everything's fair on May 3rd, thank you AJ10, and Caleb Plant was offered that fight, I don't have a problem with that at all, okay. But now I understand I give a lot of disclosures and small print, but that's how it goes with Canelo sometimes. I just think it's easy to just say, oh, Canelo's trying to do this, he's trying to do that, and all that. But does anyone in the panel disagree? If he was offered a fight on May 5th, to me, that's enough time.
I disagree. I wouldn't take it.
Okay.
You don't take it if you're doing other things. Meaning, if guys are doing things behind the scenes that the testing companies and everything that get involved. Listen, we've seen fighters be more active than what you're talking about at the championship level. But this is that whole thing about staying in shape, being ready to go, and all of that. You just had 10 rounds of work here. What's wrong with getting in there? That guy is not fresh off a fight as fresh off a fight as you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these, these are not old men. So it's like you making excuses for not being active, but you're what I'm saying, you're really being, what you want, 6 months off? See you after 6 months. I'd like to see you 3-4 months later. You know what I mean? 2-3 months later. Why not? When Mike Tyson was at his best, he was fighting 3-4 times a year. Whether he was knocking people straight out in a couple of rounds or if he went 8-9 rounds or 10 rounds, it's like he was doing it. And I'll tell you something, when you're active like that, your timing is better, your reflexes are better, and you're in shape, you're honed. These guys, they like to party, they like to do a lot of things to cut corners and everything. And when you question some fighters' stamina, look at all these guys who have popped dirty in the sport of boxing that are not body beautiful. So what the hell is all the dope that they taking, the steroids and all of this, and you can't even look in better shape? You can't get your body in shape? They got guys who sign up to play these comic book characters who can look better after 3 months of taking something to make them have muscles and stuff than you do. And you're a professional athlete. Get out of here with that. Get in the ring and fight, or sit on the sidelines and watch the train go by.
Miguel asked me how active was Ray Robinson. Very active. Now those are different times. That standard is way too high for today's fighters, if I'm honest, by the way. Okay, so I'm not expecting any fighter today to live up to that standard. Okay, but that's me. Okay,
I am.
look, Ray Robinson, they can't hold his jackstrap. But that's me.
And that's why I'm not gonna give them the credit because they're not even trying. It's like you fighting. You got to come down 25 pounds to fight at a weight class. Walked
Cutting
around
off, Stormy. Hey, you're cutting off there, Stormy. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just saying that Ray Robinson stayed close to weight. So did Marvin Hagler. These guys, you look at Sugar Ray Leonard now, he's not much heavier than when he fought in his young days. What are these guys doing? You cutting weight 25 pounds, 30 pounds, sometimes more. That's why they need such long training camps. You're a championship fighter. Training camp is about getting yourself ready to fight that opponent. It's not about getting in shape. And if you're a so-called championship fighter, you're supposed to be honing those skills and your tactics and the strategies going into the fight that you're going into. But you're spending all that time, you're putting all them supplements and stuff in your body, you're trying to cut weight and dry yourself out and dehydrate, and you look like you're a starving person when you get on the scales. Yeah, you're going to have problems. Yeah, you're going to get cut easy and everything. Your body doesn't have the elasticity it's supposed to have because all the nutrients in your body. Brain injuries and everything take place because the water hasn't come back into your body totally. Some people overhydrate, which is why they have sluggish performances when they go out there on fight night. And you notice how heavyweights don't have the brain injuries that guys who cut weight do. That's why.
Absolutely. Rehydration has a lot to do with that. You guys are listening to the February 17th edition of Aftermath. Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Look at this. We've been at 38 likes for the last 20 minutes. Are you kidding me? Stop staring at I know. Okay. That you can't take your eyes off the screen. But for one moment, press that damn like button. All right. Check it out. Check this out. Okay. Who wins that fight? Let me tell you something. Right now, if they were to fight right now, today, 2020, well, let's say May or June or whatever, right? Sometime this year, whenever, all right? I think Canelo beats Plant. Okay, I know a lot of people out there, no, Plant's all wrong for Canelo. I'm not saying he wouldn't present Canelo with problems, all right? But I think Canelo beats him right now. Chief Funk, you've been sitting idle for a little bit. Give me your thoughts on that possible matchup.
Yeah, man, I have to agree with you. I predict Canelo to win that fight. Not that I don't think, like I said, like you said, not that we don't think that Plant can't win some rounds and look good in there at certain points. But we know, man, it's hard to get a decision against this guy, man. I mean, all of his close fights, there's always that one judge that just happens to not see the fight, just happens to not watch the fight,
Can I get some clarification for you? All right. Let's forget who you think the judges will give it to. Forget about the judges. Who do you think would win that fight?
Probably, I guess I would probably take Canelo.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't think that Plant has enough power to hurt Canelo with anything he hits him with. So I think honestly, I think that you have to hurt Canelo. You have to try to knock him down or possibly out to get yourself a victory against this guy. I mean, it's hard to not talk about those kind of things when you Canelo fight because we just see it happen so often, and I mean, I hate to talk about it, but it just, it happens all the time. But I do think that Plant can win some rounds against him. He could look good, in spots, but I just don't think it's going to be enough at the end of the day. As far as the weight thing that you guys were talking about and stuff like that, and fighters not fighting as much throughout the year. I just think, honestly, I think that one of the main problems is guys don't fight near their natural weight. A lot of these guys want to be weight bullies, and they want to drop down 20, 25 pounds so they can fight these guys that are a lot smaller, and they could take punches better, and they could hurt their other guys with their shots more. So, honestly, I think that's a big reason why a lot of people don't fight as often throughout the year. I remember Triple G would fight sometimes 3 times a year because he fights at about where he walks around at, 160. I think that if guys fought where there should be fighting at, instead of trying to be weight bullies, we'd get a lot more fights throughout the year from a lot of these dudes. But that's just not the way the game is played these days. But yeah, I think that I think it would be a good fight. I think it would be a close fight. But I think at the end of the day, Canelo gets the W in my eyes.
What do you think, Reggie? How do you see that matchup?
I got Caleb Plant in there. There's a style that has always played Canelo in his career, and that's been the style that Caleb Plant fights in. Fighters with great agility, great ability, great hands, they cause great difficulty for Canelo. And the 2 questionable victories on his record, along with his defeat, have been against styles that Caleb Plant will fight in. Caleb Plant being also naturally bigger than the other guys who've caused these headaches for Canelo inside that ring. Caleb Plant being much bigger, naturally stronger, he can give Canelo some real issues. And on top of that, you got to factor in Canelo starting to have a little bit of wear and tear on his body as well. He's been in this thing for a while. So I favor Caleb Plant in this one.
All right, Stormy.
Well, I had said it earlier. I think this is a very good fight for Caleb Plant. That's the kind of fighter that he can really make some success for himself. And as Reggie just alluded to, the agility, being able to move his feet, being able to make Canelo have to move his feet, pick his feet up and move. Canelo is never as effective against a guy who has mobility and agility and footwork. He doesn't have it. That's why he has elected to fight guys who will stand there or won't move too much or whatever, because that's where he can look his best. I had remarked with someone in conversation recently that Canelo went to school when he fought Floyd Mayweather. And what they learned in that class were they were not going to put themselves in a position willingly to look bad again. See, that's what that's about when it comes down to him. He doesn't want to be made to look bad, where he's reaching for things, where he's chasing down, and he's doing this with someone who can fight out of that type of position. And that's where he is not adept and not at his best. And so he has elected to stay away from fighters who could present that set of problems. But guess what? When you avoid that, you're not a complete fighter. Even Julio Cesar Chavez will still fight those guys who move. He say they running from him and everything and complain that they won't stand there and fight toe to toe, but he would fight them. You see, some he was able to track down and stop. Others, they did well enough to beat him. So it's like, I'm sorry, you're not going to go through life undefeated. Life is undefeated against us. You know what I mean? We're mortal beings. And at some point, you keep on trying to shape things and keep them going in an avenue for yourself. Someone even will beat you or defeat you inside that paradox. So might as well get in there. You might learn something.
Man, I think we went through the whole enchilada brand. Okay, we went through everything. Look at this. Look at these notes, by the way. Show them your notes, Reggie. I just want people to make a comparison. Look at these notes, bro. Okay.
The best in the game.
Although I do use a pen while I'm doing the show, as you can see. Okay. Look at this pen. All right. This show has been brought to you by Sharpie. Last topic. We have about 10 minutes left here. Man, nobody see that, Reggie. You're gonna make people go blind, bro. Okay. All right, what's going on over here? Make sure you guys, by the way, jab the like button. It helps support the channel. Okay, I mean we're up here late, man. Look at this. We're all here making this happen. I mean, G-Funk's going through 7-8 devices just to come on live to give his thoughts. You guys could give him a thumbs up. All right, I'm just saying, Big LT, what's going on? Wook with a lot of great comments out there. I do read through them, guys. No, Paul, what's going on? I don't think anyone in the panel said we want Canelo to run around like Joshua. I don't recall that whatsoever. I don't think anyone said that. But with that said, I get my thoughts, and that's that. You know what I mean? Mayweather. I hate to bring up the name, okay? I do, but I mean, he's out there. You know what I mean? No coincidence in the week of a Wilder fight. Okay, the guy is talking about a $250 pay-per-view to box Conor McGregor and Khabib on the same night. Reggie, are you for it? For or against? Or you don't give a shit? I don't know.
No, I'm against it, man. And Floyd is one of my favorite fighters of all time, but as a retired fighter, don't give two shits about Floyd. Nothing. I remember where his career ended is where I forget him, and I wish he comes back around. But I hope, matter of fact, I would want to watch it, and I hope the first guy he think he's gonna fight knocks him out. And I don't like Conor McGregor, but I think Floyd has played his legacy as a fighter, and I hope he gets knocked out so that way he stays away from the sport. He should have been a great ambassador for the sport, a great representative of the damn people. And as a legendary fighter, he's going off to be a goddamn, he act like a mumble rapper. That's what he is. He's a retired mumble rapper of boxers is what Floyd has turned into. But if he get in there, I hope he get knocked out.
Yo, but there ain't no way these dudes ain't going to knock him out unless they do some MMA shit, unless they throw a kick in his head or something, right?
They can punch still. They know how to punch.
They're not going to knock out Mayweather, bro. It's not going to happen. Okay.
You got to remember, Floyd is old, too. That jaw ain't the same. That brain ain't.
Bro, this dude is going to be boxing two novice dudes with their hands, bro. Like I'm just saying, right? But I get your point, though. You're saying you hope it happens. But if in that case, I just won't watch it. You know what I mean? G-Funk, you sold? Would you be interested in that? G-Funk. Stormy, go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. So you said Floyd wants to fight who now? It's cutting off a little bit. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not our end. I think it's your end. But Khabib McGregor, give us your thoughts. He wants to fight both of them on the same night.
Really? Wow, this is the first time hearing about that.
For $250, he'll box both of them same night.
I think he could beat both guys in the same night. To be honest with you, you know, when it comes to just strictly throwing punches and no wrestling, no grappling, no kicking, these guys don't stand a chance. Guys that are professional boxers, you know, top 10 guys had trouble landing. I don't think these guys have any chance of beating them in a boxing match. I mean, to Reggie's point, he's getting up there in age. It's been a little bit since he's been in the ring, but I just don't see it, man. I think he could beat both these guys in the same night. I think Chavez Jr. could probably beat both guys in the same night in a boxing match. But excuse me. Yeah, man. Floyd is just, you know, he's to the point now where he doesn't want to take any serious fights. He just wants to make money. And and he's earned that position. He's earned his spot. So, is what it is, man. But I mean, anybody who thinks it's going to be a good fight, I think that you're really fooling yourself, and you're going to waste your money if you buy it hoping for a good fight.
Man, Stormy, you're forking out $250 to watch Floyd Mayweather box two MMA dudes.
That's a no, D style.
That's a sell.
No,
Well,
man.
what if someone paid you to watch it? Would you watch it?
No, I have no interest in anything that Floyd Mayweather is doing with his life, his so-called after boxing life, or anything of that sort. There's too many young, fresh, vibrant talent out there for me to focus on and forget about him as I focus deeper and harder. So that's what I have to say about that. I wish he'd go away. He's like that nagging fly that comes around your barbecue when you're outside and got the grill going and everything. You just want to just swat it away. That's what he's like. And every time you throw a fresh piece of steak on the grill, which is the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder rematch this weekend, here he comes. Buzz, buzz, buzz. You understand? We have to get the raid out and get rid of that dude.
We need Wilder's right hand. That's a raid right there. Bang,
Yeah,
get the
I
out of the way.
wish, it's like, but like I said, it's too many other people in the sport right now that we should be giving our attention and time dedication to. Too many. Look at these young fighters out here, the Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, and you got, Jason Rosario just became a champion. It's like, well, let's talk about it. Let's get on these guys. Let's focus on these guys. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, these guys. Teofimo is out. He's out there. He's getting ready to do something. We got so much more that we could focus on. To hell with this guy.
Man, well said. We just got a little bit left. Don't want to really talk about the fight itself. We'll be covering the fight throughout the week. You guys could, by the way, make sure you subscribe to Stormy B-Man. Make sure you subscribe to Reggie Owens. Make sure you subscribe to G-Funk and all that good stuff. Next week, we're going to have Mr. Boxing Today on Aftermath. For those that don't know, Mr. Boxing Today is the king of heavyweight boxing talk. That dude's been covering heavyweight boxing here on YouTube since forever. Okay. Most of you were still in your daddy's nutsack. Okay. When this dude was covering heavyweight boxing here on YouTube. Okay. That's how long he's been doing it. I'm just saying. All right. Salute to the Dragon and Sir Owens III and to Stormy B-Man and G-Funk as well. Absolutely. Quick prediction, guys, or not prediction, but, well, I guess it is a prediction, but let's start with you, Reggie. The pay-per-view, as you guys know, is being promoted by Fox and ESPN. Heavy. Okay. Super Bowl, lap 76, 230 something. Like I had it in front of me, but on NASCAR and stuff and all that stuff. Okay. Daytona 500, XFL, Super Bowl, NBA, well, what you name it, they're promoting the shit out of it. Pay-per-view buy prediction. I just want a number. Reggie, what ballpark, where do you see it? What do you see it doing?
1.5.
1.5 million. I want to know what the chat thinks as well. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. We'll go over that really quick. Pay-per-view buy prediction. Stormy.
Ooh, I could see it being very close to 1 million. Especially they had the Super Bowl, advertisements and everything. I think this is, something that people wanted to see immediately. And then they had that break where he went off and did some other stuff and got his eye opened up to the white meat and all of that. So it's finally happening. People want to see. There's a grudge there and so many of the narratives that you like to see in the sport. So I think people will be tuning in, man. It's going to be very high. 1 million would be great, but I think it's going to be very close. If it doesn't make $1 million, it'll be just under. And if it goes over $1 million, I'll be very happy because I want the people to turn out and show the support and love for the sport that it deserves.
All right. Agent 10 says 1.3 million. No Paul says 650,000. Big LT says 1.7 million. As those come in, just shy of $1 million, says Bruce. Right. Nelson Santos, 600 to 800,000 pay-per-views. Okay. Wilkie Wilkes says 1.5 to 2 million pay-per-views. Like that. Well, we got 1.5 million. I want to know what you guys think, by the way, even on your channels. I would like to know what everyone thinks. You want to do videos on it and all good stuff on what you believe it will do. Thank you very much, by the way, guys, for getting us to 53 likes in the middle of this show. The support is appreciated. Like I said, live always shows up. Now we're going to see what archive can do. Okay. All right. When you wake up in the morning, all those that listen to D-Style Boxing Live, we're going to see what you guys do. But Wilkie Wilkes at 700 is the lowest. Chief Funk, what's your prediction, bro?
I'm going to say at least $1 million, if not more. I think that the promotion for the fight has been just phenomenal. They've hit all the right buttons. It's on multiple platforms. I see I can get it on ESPN Plus app. I see it on my cable network is advertising it. You could get it from multiple platforms, and it's being promoted on multiple platforms. It had a advertisement during the Super Bowl, which is always great. I mean, you got hundreds of millions of people that watch the Super Bowl. They all got a chance to be reminded that in a few weeks we have this huge mega heavyweight fight coming up. And I honestly think it can do $1 million, if not. And I really do hope it does. I think it'll be great for the sport, and it'll do wonders for boxing for the fans. I mean, it's going to be sold out, obviously, wherever it's at. I don't know where it's at, but I think it's in Las Vegas. But if the numbers come in and it's $1 million or more, man, it's gonna be great, man. And I can't wait to see it, man. I did my prediction on it earlier today, and I can't wait for it, man. I feel like it needs to be tomorrow, man. I just can't wait,
Can't wait either. You guys have been tuning in to the February 17th edition of Aftermath. I appreciate you guys tuning in. My official prediction is 1.5 to 2 million buys. Why? First, I don't buy the whole, ironically, talking about buys, but the illegal stream has always been an issue. Like that's an issue. That was an issue when Floyd fought Canelo and Pacquiao, and look how those events did. You know what I mean? The reality is, outside of a few boxing nerds that don't mind doing whatever you got to do. I'm not condoning nor being against anything. You do what you got to do. All right. I'm a little guilty of it here and there too, but when you have people over, bro, no, you don't connect the laptop to the TV and go to the legal stream. That looks kind of lame. Okay. But I do believe, looking at the advertisement behind this, the two largest sports entities, 1 million people saw this live, okay, during the Super Bowl being promoted. 1.5 to 2 million buys. First, let's look at it for a second, okay? The first fight did about 350,000, right? When it's all counted, those are return customers. There isn't one person about that fight that was unhappy with the actual fight, and as far as the drama of it, okay, they definitely want to watch it again. So you're going to have return customers, okay, come back and buy that fight, okay? So make no mistake about it, the safety net of this fight is 350,000, right? And then on top of that, those return customers plus those that have seen it get promoted, it's going to get promoted heavy this week, and best believe people will come out and buy this fight. 1.5 to 2 million, and if people disagree, then you disagree. You know what I mean? And by the way, the numbers are not going to be released the next day. Okay, it's going to be on regular pay-per-view, like traditionally like we know it. And it's going to be on ESPN Plus. I believe the Fox app has it as well. So we're going to know the pay-per-view numbers right away. But when those numbers come out, I just want to remind everybody that's not counting the ESPN Plus numbers, right? Because we may never know those numbers, right? But, hopefully they'll give us an idea and all that. But with that said, this is the style boxing. And what do we say, guys?
Keep it boxing.
Keep it boxing.